house Mr. Braulio Cesar Augusto. Mr. Braulio Cesar Augusto, I hope I got that right. Pardon me if I didn't pronounce it right. Mr. Braulio Cesar Augusto is the Chairman, National Institute of Support to Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, INAPEM, in Angola. So he'll be shedding some light on what INAPEM is doing in Angola, and how can technology actually help these micro, small, and medium enterprises in Angola and the institute at large. So, Mr. Braulio Cesar, the floor is yours, sir. Seems we'll have to go to the next speaker, Mr. It seems he's not available now. So we'll be going to the next speaker, Mr. Basel Rami. Sorry. Be moving on to the next speaker. I think Mr. Braulio Cesar Augusto is not available at the moment. We'll move on to the next speaker. This is Mr. Basel Rami. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development agency, as an MS MIDA in Egypt. He's being ably represented by Hatim Kamal, who is the head export development department, the micro, small, and medium enterprise development agency. Mr. Basel, Mr. Hatim Kamal, you have the floor, sir. We really love to hear about what your agency in Egypt is doing to promote businesses in Egypt, and how have you been able to? What's your take on technology in helping to promote, advance, or provide seamless trade interactions for MSMEs in Egypt, sir? So, sir, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the 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 organizers in giving us the opportunity and to talk about the very important subject of today. I am here representing Mr. Basel Rahmi, who is the executive president of Masmeda Egypt, which is the main responsible agency in Egypt responsible for supporting small and micro enterprises in Egypt. First of all, I would like to talk about um, how Egypt, and of course, together with the African countries, can have one good step about leveraging technology and use it and building up the business relationship between companies and small and micro enterprises and all over the continent, together with the Egyptian small and micro enterprises. I would like to say that Egypt and Africa hold actually a vast untapped potential to attract foreign investors through digital transformation, trade innovation, and cross-continental technical collaboration. This potential can be translated into two forms. One is that Egypt is emerging as the regional hub, of course, thanks to the rapidly growing ICT sector here in Egypt, consolidated with strong infrastructure and strategic partnership. Second is that we can see the key opportunities across Africa that not only Egypt but also the rest of the African countries can play together in order to seize these opportunities. The key opportunities across Africa is first, the digital infrastructure expansion. Regardless of the slow development in the IT sector inside the continent, of course, it varies from a country to country, but Africa is actually experiencing a rapid growth in mobile internet penetration, fintech adoption, digital payments. All of these access are actually developing very rapidly, and investment in broadband and cloud services, data centers can unlock new markets, of course, and reduce the digital divide. So the more we are developing the internet, mobile phones, fintech, digital payments, the more we get into more opportunities across Africa for businesses to grow and for visitors to come and invest in African countries. The second key opportunity that we can see is the fintech and e-commerce. Now we understand and we can see that Africa's young population is driving the demand for mobile banking, digital wallets, and online marketplaces. So this is a huge power for the demand on not only the internet, but also the IT technology and the fintech itself. Cross-border e-commerce platforms can play very huge role, can facilitate trade innovation and connect African small and micro enterprises to global supply chain. The third key opportunities across Africa is the technical talent and innovation hubs. The tech talent Africa has one of the fastest growing pools of tech savvy youth. So the more young youth adopting IT technology and technicality, the more we can see uh, um, opportunities in order to drive the investments and foreign investors to invest in Africa. Of course, establishing innovation hubs and accelerators fosters entrepreneurship and attracts venture capital. So this is another opportunity that can drive the investors and investment and small and micro enterprises to grow. The last but not least is the green and smart technologies. We can see that opportunities in renewable energy, smart agriculture, and sustainable urban development align with global ESG investment priorities. So the more countries and all over the continent is adopting renewable energy, smart agriculture, the urban development, this will uh, encourage investors to come and make use of these investment opportunities. This is from the side of Africa. From the other side, on Egypt, what can Egypt actually play role is that Egypt has a unique value proposition. It has a robust ICT growth. As we can see, Egypt ICT grew 15.2 percentage in the fiscal year of 2022 and 2023. This is outpacing overall GDP growth of the country, contributing 5.1 to the GDP. This model can be replicated in African countries. So the level of investment in ICT reached $4.2 billion inside the country. Of course, this is supporting and helping, taking the attention of the major global players like Microsoft, IBM, Amazon, and Visa to come to Egypt in order to invest. And this is one of the good models that the African countries can actually replicate. The second is the strategic partnerships. Egypt has partnered with uh, uh, different groups such as Tingiso Uni Group to launch a 300 million technical investment fund focusing on AI, the artificial intelligence, and semiconductors. These collaboration position Egypt as a bridge between African and Asian technical ecosystems. Again, this can also help to be replicated the same model in other African countries and can be a bridge between Africa and other continents using Egypt as a bridge between those two continents or between Africa and the rest of the continents in the world. The third one that give Egypt a very unique position in this area is the digital trade and exports. Egypt has achieved 6.2 billion in digital exports in 2023, with ensuring exports growing 54% year on year, comparing results. It's 81 million mobile internet users and advanced broadband speed ranked the first in Africa, make it prime digital trade hub for Africa. The fourth value proposition unique Egypt is the inclusive workforce. Female inclusion in Egypt ICT sector is 30 to 40%, signaling diversity and a strong talent pipeline. Global firms are actively engaging Egyptian youth in skill training and workforce development. So What are the pathways to attract foreign investors? First is the cross-continental technical collaboration. Egypt can act as a gateway for African startups to access European, Asian, and Middle Eastern markets. The giant R&D initiatives in AI and cybersecurity and fintech can foster innovative ecosystem for the rest of the continent countries. The second pathway is the trade innovation platform. The digital trade corridors and blockchain-based customs solution can streamline cross-border commerce between Egypt and Africa from one side and between Egypt and other continents and countries all over the world from the other side. Egypt's geographic position make it ideal for logistic and digital trade facilitation between Africa, Europe, and Asia. So the third one is the policy and investment incentives. Actually, Egypt continued reforms in digital governance, IP protection, and investment-friendly policies will reassure foreign investors to come into the country and start investing in such not only this sector but also other sectors. Tax incentives and free zones for technical companies can accelerate if foreign direct investment inflows. So, in a word, Africa's digital transformation offers immense opportunities, and Egypt stands out as a leader with strong ICT growth, global partnership, and a skilled workforce. By leveraging cross-continental collaboration, trade innovation, and inclusive digital ecosystems, Egypt can attract significant foreign investment and position itself as a technical hub for Africa and beyond Africa. This is uh, all what I can say about building the ties between the African countries in accelerating trade and leveraging technology and servicing trade between not only between Egypt and the rest of the continent countries, but also between the African countries and other continent, building this business relationship and leveraging the technologies to help accelerate the businesses and foreign investments to come into Africa. Thank you, and I would like, if any has some questions, can please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamal Atim. That was a very concise, clear, and insightful piece of information, about what your agency, the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development Agency in Egypt, is doing. And I think from what you just said now, it's safe to say that Egypt is actually a front runner when it comes to technological advancements in Africa. We are also very happy to hear that you have a very receptive terrain towards startups and towards technological, tech-driven businesses. I can see you talking about digital exports. I can see you talking about policy and investments, things that are actually providing these opportunities. Mr. Kamal, I don't know if you can maybe tell us one or two programs that your agency, I don't know if your agency is working on any particular program for SMEs or for tech startups in Egypt, because some of our participants are asking, they are looking for opportunities. So they're asking, is there any programs per se in Egypt for, for small enterprises or startups, that are available within your agency? So I don't know if you have any of them. I think this is the best platform to be able to, showcase some of these initiatives from your agency.
Okay. Well, thank you for the question. Ms. Meda, the Small and Micro Enterprise Development Agency, is actually providing several programs in order to help develop small and micro enterprises in different areas. We have certain programs in order to provide financial assistance to small and micro enterprises. We have other programs to help provide non-financial services. These non-financial services includes technical assistance in the agriculture and industrial clusters, specific technical assistance to help them to grow technically. We do have marketing assistant program as well as the export support to small and micro enterprises that would like to export. We give training, we engage in workshops, we help them get into trade shows, exhibitions, in order to promote their sales to foreign market. We are helping them to be accredited to certain quality certificates in order to be able to tap into the foreign markets in Europe and in Africa. We also give what we call the entrepreneurship training to our clients and to the youth in universities and in technical schools in order to help to help them become entrepreneurs in the future. So this is a very specific training material and training sessions for them for the entrepreneurship, as well as other technical assistance and assistance to small and micro enterprises. So we do have several programs in doing this. We are providing free of charge services to our clients in Egypt. Definitely one of our major goals right now is to build linkages between Egypt and African countries. We would like to build trade relations with African countries because this is the future for Egypt in order to be competitive in exporting to Africa and importing raw materials from Africa, as well as other products that came in from African countries. Well, and again, Ms. Meda is much more than happy in exchanging information, experience, providing assistance to whoever would like to get into our experience in Ms. Meda and replicate the same programs in the African countries. So, all in all, yes, we do have a lot of programs specifically for each industry, specifically for each purpose, and cross-cutting all the functions that helps small and micro enterprises to grow. That's it. I hope I answered your question.
Very, very, very well, Mr. Kamal. Very, very well, Mr. Tim Kamal. Very well. I think it was a very elaborate one. I think we our participants tuning in now will have a very good understanding of the very encouraging programs that your agency is actually putting together. So I think it's commendable and it's very robust, I must say, and very commendable at the same time. So we thank you so much, Mr. Kamal, for shedding more light about the activities of your agency in Egypt. And hopefully, one of these days, we probably will be visiting Egypt. So when I come to Egypt with my team, I think the agency will be one of the places that I'll be anchoring to go, so I can actually share in the vision of your agency. So thank you so much, Mr. Kamal, for gracing us with your presence and very insightful presentation.
You're welcome, sir, and you're welcome one more time again to visit Egypt, as well as the giving a special visit to the agency. you and your colleagues and any of the attendees of this workshop is actually welcome to come to Mesmeda as a visitor to Egypt, and we will be waiting for you and others to welcome us by your visits. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamal. Thank you. We'll be heading to, we'll be having the next speaker, Mr. Kitiwa Malanga. Pardon me if I didn't pronounce it well. Please, you pardon me. Mr. Kitiwa Malanga is the Chief Executive Officer, the Small Enterprises Development Company in Swaziland, known as SEDCO. And they will be sharing with us what the agency is all about. What does the agency do? What kind of what are its mandates? What is the scope? What programs does the agency have? And how is the agency leveraging technology to actually help small enterprises in Swaziland? So, Mr. Katiwe, the floor is yours. And I apologize again if I didn't get the pronunciation very well. Maybe you can, you may be going to correct me, so I will do it better next time. So the floor is yours, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Unfortunately, I don't have video. I hope I'm ahead. My name is Ketiwe Mhlanga. The pronunciation was quite close. I'm from Eswatini, and I'll be talking more on our SMEs in Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland for everyone. So the Small Enterprises Development Company is a state-owned agency that focuses on capacitating MSMEs to ensure that they grow and that their businesses are sustainable. We provide capacity building in terms of coaching, mentorship, and also just making sure that they're registered as companies within the country. I don't know, I can't unfortunately from this side share my slides. So can I just proceed as I am? What I can indicate when it comes—
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. You can. Yes, please.
Thank you. What I can indicate when it comes to Eswatini is that we just had a new MSME policy being adopted in the country. And with that in mind, it was highlighted issues of how can we then take advantage of digital technologies to innovate. I think as we look at Eswatini, we do understand that we need to be part of the key stakeholders when it comes to Africa leveraging to technology. How do we increase our intra-trade as well as global trade? And for us, it's not only about removing non-tariff barriers or looking at what has been the hindrance in the past. It's all about creating opportunities. And what we have found is how can we then, as Eswatini, be part of the— right now we see an opportunity of Africa having that 1.5 trillion industry in the tech space. And what we are doing is try to implement the digital transformation strategy within Africa, the one that ends in 2030. So on our side, what we've looked at is how can we best take advantage of opportunities that are being presented through AI or Internet of Things. What we have done so far is we have introduced for our SMEs a scheme specifically for SMEs to be certified in terms of standards and quality so that they can access the continental free trade area. And with that in mind, we're hoping this will improve their productivity and increase as well their access to the market. And through this, we have ensured that the standards that are being requested internationally, they can also apply them at a cheaper or more free price here in Eswatini. So we've created that space for them to just getting them to be export ready. They have taken advantage of our innovation hubs, which we have started in the country, where I think we're all aware that in most African countries, we have issues when it comes to digital infrastructure. We have challenges when it comes to access to internet. Not everyone has it. And our MSMEs, they have not been really visible in the digital space. So to ensure that digital inclusion, we have innovation hubs, which are run by the youth within our business incubation spaces. And with those innovation hubs, that's where they get to learn about utilizing your artificial intelligence and also how they can also be part of the e-commerce platforms. When it comes to digital infrastructure in Eswatini, we look at e-commerce as being the low-hanging fruit for our MSMEs. So there have been some e-commerce platforms that have been strategically created by our sister company, which is the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority, which speaks to Buy Swazi. And basically, it's just encouraging Eswatini produce goods to be within this e-commerce platform for our entrepreneurs. And with that in mind, we have to also focus on our infrastructure when it comes to the issue of easing our electronic cross-border payments. So issues of gateway payment systems, they have been really instrumental in terms of our central bank and also our commercial banks making sure that they are working. And issues of trade facilitations have been key. Introductions like Ascuda World, those have been the ones that are being utilized within the country. And the logistics systems as well, when it comes to issues of trading services, come into play, areas that have been touched on in Eswatini to ensure that our MSMEs are leveraging when it comes to issues of technology for trading purpose. And with that, we have been encouraging through, of course, our youth MSMEs in the iHubs that the country as well, when they are doing the electronic customs declaration aspect, that we must invest in applications such as the blockchain to ensure the issue of transparency, traceability, and accountability. I think we all know in this space of e-commerce, there's also issues of course, the cybersecurity aspect of things. So these are the things that are being also communicated to our MSMEs in terms of the programs that we're doing. As a country, we are looking at increasing our investments in the energy sector in terms of the production, supply, I think in most of the African countries, you'll find that energy sector is not the most reliable, and it's in terms of affordability as well, it's not as affordable as we would like it to be. And we have been trying to invest in this sector, like using renewable energy, opening the space in terms of opening our services sector in energy to ensure that there's more investment coming in when it comes to energy, so that even our networks are stable, because all the infrastructures, they are sort of cross-sectoral when we look at the way that they are working. What we have found when we are further looking at how can we help our MSMEs, there have been fintechs that have come through in Eswatini that are taking up some of the, I would say, the burden of financial inclusion from maybe the commercial banks. This has made transactions much easier for our MSMEs. And with that in mind, there's the issue of having to make sure that we have regulated our data in terms of data protection, having legislations that speaks to that. And in Eswatini, we have a Data Protection Act that we are currently implementing, and which covers the protection. We have a Royal Science of Technology Park, which is currently has an incubation specifically for MSMEs in the technological space. And with that center as well, we also have data center that is under the Royal Science and Technology company, which then also looks at how we can host some of the data, because this is also a great opportunity that we have not taken advantage of as a country. And I think Africa as a whole needs also to take advantage of investing in data itself. And with that, because this enables mostly to have our data within the African space, I would call it that, even though it's in the cloud somewhere, but we'll have it in the African space. And that enables also our investors to have confidence in the work that we are doing within our different countries. For us, we have ensured that not only is it the youth, we also have women and people with disabilities that we have positioned to also play a role in being part of our e-commerce platforms, and also being part of even the global value chains. With that, we have been encouraging them by having targeted incentives for them, such as maybe competitions that speaks directly to women, to the youth, as well as people with disabilities. We have, as a country, just started, we have now IP legislations in place, and we're encouraging our creatives, the youth, and as well as our SMEs who are producing goods which have intellectual property in them, to start registering their IPs, because some of it gets lost once it gets in these public platforms such as your e-commerce, and you'll find somebody else replicating your goods and you end up not gaining anything. These are some of the things that we are doing within SEDCO in terms of activities and programs that we have for our MSMEs. What I can highlight is that now the focus is really ensuring that our SMEs understand that as much as they can be a manufacturer or a service provider, their retailer can now be in the internet space of things, and they can market in terms of their digital marketing. That's their intermediary, and also moving into the logistics space in terms of the transport, being the shippers of those in terms of shipping the goods, if it's goods at this stage. But the biggest player in our space now is the consumer, because we want a consumer in Africa that is more conscious to consume goods that are produced within Africa and utilize, even when it comes to services, service that are also coming from Africa. I know it normally starts at national level, and that's what we're doing within our economy, but we're replicating that to also speak at regional level for our entrepreneurs to go there. So to conclude, for us, what is really needed more than anything is the collaboration at cross-border level. Investors, foreign direct investment, yes, we receive it as a country, but we would like to see more investors coming from Africa. Our African investors are investing in the European countries, basically the West, and they're not really investing more within Africa itself. We would like to see more investors in Africa. We'd like to see more investment and collaboration when it comes to supporting our startups in the tech space. We have lots of startups, but they're not supported. We tend not to use their solutions as much as we should. And we will use the solutions coming from your Microsoft, from your SAP or the likes, but we're not using the solutions that are being developed locally. We need our accelerators within Africa to also collaborate. Your youth chambers, your business chambers, how do we get them together to speak the same language? Even our academia. Also our media, why are they not telling the story of MSMEs in Africa in terms of what we are doing and how are we collaborating with one another? At the end of the day, it is an exercise that is bigger than all of us, that we all need to contribute if we want to truly change the trade ecosystem of Africa and really leverage when it comes to the technology that is available at the moment. As we always say, let us not leave anyone behind. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was so insightful, so well put together, and it makes me want to just take my little money and come and invest in Swaziland or in Eswatini. It was so insightful. I like the Royal Science, of Technology you talked about, the academy where you guys have a hub where you train SMEs and all that. I really like that. I like what your agency, your country too, is doing in the energy sector. I think one of the key points I took out from what you just said is, why isn't Africa telling the stories? Why are we telling the success stories? Why are we letting the world know about the products that we have in Africa? And a lot of Africans tend to use products from outside the country, as you rightfully said, they tend to use products from Microsoft and the rest. Meanwhile, African startups have their own indigenous solutions. So I think this is something. This is a thought that I think African need to start thinking about. How can we actually market these our tech solutions coming out of Africa to the world instead of taking the world solutions to Africa? I think that's what Kitiwe is trying to emphasize, and I think it's a very valid observation. So thank you so much. It was so insightful. I'll be waiting for questions to come in, but until they come in, I think I will. I think I will move to the next speaker. So once again, Kitiwe, thank you so much. As soon as the questions are coming in for you, I will definitely, maybe after the session, we'll go into the questions for that. So I'll move to the next available speaker. Braulio Cesar Augusto. Braulio Cesar Augusto. I hope I didn't murder the name. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Braulio Cesar Augusto is the chairman, National Institute of Support to Micro, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprises, INAPEN, okay, in Angola. In Angola, Mr. Braulio, please. I think your mic is muted. If you can, okay, beautiful. So, Braulio is the chairman, National Institute of Support to Micro, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprises, INAPEN, in Angola. You'll be telling us more about small-scale businesses in Angola and what his institute is doing to support small businesses in Angola, what programs they have to support these enterprises, and what they're actually looking at, the kind of collaboration that they'll be looking for to actually scale some of these enterprises. So, Braulio Cesar, you have the floor, and we're happy to have you here today. So you can take the floor, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to know if my camera and my sound are good.
Sorry, Braulio. I think you are still mute because we can't hear you. Maybe you should check your mic.
So you can hear me now? Hello, can you hear me? My microphone is good here. Can you hear me now? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. We can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So first of all, just a little correction. Actually, I'm not Mr. Braulio Augusto. I'm representing him. So due to some agenda, Mr. Braulio will not be able to be here, but I'm here representing INAPEN as a deputy coordinator of the entrepreneurship and innovation unit at INAPEN. I will be representing Dr. Braulio Cesar Augusto. So you did spell right the name. He is our chairman of the board of directors at our institute for the support of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in Angola. Let's just beginning. I want to first of all greetings all of you, Your Excellencies, esteemed speakers, partners, innovators, Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, good afternoon. I'm bringing you the warmest greetings from Angola and from Dr. Braulio Cesar Augusto, our chairman of the National Institute for the Support of Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise, INAPEM, who, due to matter of some national priority, is unable to join us today. I have the honor and responsibility to stand in his place and deliver this goodwill message with a deep sense of continental mission and our institutional commitment. So today's gatherings speaks directly to the great challenge and opportunities of our generation to make Africa digitally sovereign, commercially integrated, and entrepreneurial empowered. We are no longer debating whether Africa should embrace digital trade. We are now acting decisively to position our nations, our institutions, and our entrepreneurs at the front line of a new economic geography where bits move faster than borders and innovations becomes our comparative advantage. So how is Angola transformation or transforming this path? What are the real role of INAPEM here? What are we doing here? Which kind of projects we are doing to strengthen our startups, our smallest and medium enterprise? So in this transformative journey, Angola has not remained on the sidelines. So under the vision of His Excellency President of Angola, João Lourenço, and with INAPEM as key implementing arm, the government of Angola has prioritized its entrepreneurship, innovations, and SME empowerment, and innovations as strategic pillars of inclusive growth and economic diversification. INAPEM, as Angola National Agencies for Startups, Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development, is leading both reforms and programs that align directly with the aspirations of the Agenda 2063 in this very conference. Let me share a few highlights of Angola current strategy directions. So we are glad to inform that our startup law of Angola was recently approved. This legal framework defines and certifies startups, provides fiscal and regulatory incentives, introduce the startup seals and pre-startups status, and strengthens ventures finance, including safe agreements, convertible debt, and proceed support instruments. So I think it's a good achievement for our country, and this approval of this startup law will strengthen all the ecosystem in Angola and in our region. So we have another project going on that we call it Envolver Mais. It's like getting together and to boost. It's a nationwide network of incubators, accelerators, municipal hubs, and academics partnerships, creating a real and inclusive startup ecosystems beyond capitals, linked with diaspora engagement and exports readiness. We are having a digital infrastructure for MSMEs, from paperless business registrations to digital entrepreneurships training. INAPEM is pushing the frontier with tools like electronic certification. We have Made in Angola cell to give the enterprise this kind of validations. We have MSME portals and data dashboards to inform policies and driving public-private co-creations. About the startup law, we are preparing to launch a platform to guide the startups to know what are going on and how we going to materialize this law. About market access, the trade interpretations. In APEM and its partners, we are mapping MSME value chain and working to reduce barriers to cross-border trade, especially in agro-processing, light manufacturing, and digital service. We have a lot of projects. We have one project that we call in Portuguese Replica. It's like replications, working with franchising. So we have these projects. We have another project that we call Recria in Portuguese. It's like for the creative people, the creativity innovations. We are writing a lot of projects to get to start during next year in order to boost all of our ecosystem. So, but we are trying to make some staff exchange starting in Africa, because we know that our neighbors, our regions have similar problems, and we want to know what other countries here in Africa are doing to solve this kind of challenge, and how these ecosystems are getting stronger. We want to make a staff exchange with Nigeria as well. Nigeria is on our top 5 priority countries to make this staff exchange that we want to do. How is our role in Africa? Allow me to humbly highlight that Angola in 2025 holds multiple continental leadership roles, including the chairmanship of the African Union. This obligates us to lead not just with policy, but with vision, presence, and collaboration. We are not just participants in the digital futures of Africa. We are determined to shape it with institutions like INAPEM, acting as a catalyst and bridge between governments, entrepreneurs, and global partners. To all partners, regulators, investors, and innovators present, let us deepen alignment. We propose stronger collaboration, stroke, reciprocal startup exchange, like I said before, harmonizations of startup certifications regimes, cross-border regulatory sandbox, and co-financed innovations corridors. Let us think as one continent. Let us build tech corridors where startups can scale from Luanda to Kigali, from Dakar to Nairobi, without frictions, fear, or funding gaps. As we accelerate trade through technology, let's remember this. Africa is not too late. It is just in time. Not to replicate, but to redefine the terms of innovations, ownership, and impact. Let us do this, not just for GDP, but for jobs, for youth, for shared prosperity, and for dignity. INAPEM stands ready, Angola stands committed, Africa must rise. Thank you, muito obrigado e Angola.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rallo. We thank you so much. That was very, very insightful. One of there's something you spoke at the end. I don't know. I don't understand Portuguese, but I'll take that as a as a warm greeting. Because in my place, when they say something I don't understand the language, you start getting scared, hoping it's not an insult. But of course, yeah,
no, of course,
yeah,
not.
Gentleman. So no, that was just a joke on the lighter, and that was just trying to get to the lighter note. So beautiful presentation, Bralo. We are really excited to be working with you and working with Angola. I think for the listeners today would have learned so much about the opportunities in Angola, and I think it will have stirred up a lot of interest, both from investors and also for tech innovators that are wishing to start up a career or business in Angola. One of the I was very particularly interested about the Made in Angola. Made in Angola, I think, is it an expo or a kind of it's like an expo or a trade fair made in Angola that you talked about? Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know if
it's
you
like
can.
yes, it's like how to say in English? It's like a cell or certifications. We provide it to company that that fill it some requirements. If they service or product are original made in Angola with Angolans, so they pay a year license to have some kind of benefits. So they have taxes benefits. They have a priority to some tenders, for example. So it's like it's working like that.
Okay, beautiful, Braulio. Thank you so much.
Evaldo.
We thank you so much. And we hope that maybe you will be here with us again to shed more light, because I know you have so much to say. But
just to correct,
just
to correct, it's Evaldo, Braulio. It's our chairman of the board.
Okay, it's sorry, I didn't get that.
No, I say I'm representing Mr. Braulio. I'm not Mr. Braulio. Please,
okay,
just to
okay,
okay.
Okay, beautiful. But you did a very good job that we didn't even notice. So thank you so much once again for representing Mr. Braulio. And hopefully next time Mr. Braulio will be here in person, maybe together with you, so we can shed more light. But I think
of course,
right now we are all very excited about Angola, and we are showing investors and tech innovators who want to definitely visit there and to see the prospects. So thank you so much. We'll be heading to the next speaker. We'll be receiving the next speaker now in the person of Diani Mongudi. As once again, I always apologize if I don't get the name precisely right. Diani Mongudi is the Chief Executive Officer for the Botswana Digital Innovation Hub, BDIH, I think it's in Botswana. So they'll be letting us know what does the Innovation Hub do, what is its mandate, what its services, and the programs and that they have under their belt, and how they are using tech to, of course, solve problems not just in Botswana but in Africa. So, Diani Mongudi, please take the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. It's actually 4:20 here, so it's an afternoon. If you allow, I'll switch on my camera briefly for you to appreciate the face behind the voice, and then I'll switch it off now so that I'm able to proceed without any interruptions, specifically from the internet. So thank you very much indeed. I'm Diani Mungudi. I'm the acting CEO, Botswana Digital and Innovation Hub, and thank you to the organizers for this opportunity to share our story, what we are doing as a country, as the Innovation Hub, to try and foster innovation, but above all also to collaborate with other African countries just to ensure that we provide an enabling and conducive environment for all the market players to be able to develop those critical, unique products and services that we really need as an African continent. So thank you very much. The Botswana Digital Innovation Hub, we are a science and technology park, a national innovation and agency established by government to promote and support innovation in Botswana. So we work with various stakeholders, being from innovators, startups, the academia, the research institutions, the private sector, as well as the public sector. In my presentation, I'll be able to touch on how we try to bring together all the stakeholders so that we are able to develop those solutions, not only for Botswana, but for the African continent as well. Also, just to point out that we are a member of the International Association of Science Parks to try and have access to best practice from other science parks and other organizations that have been given more or less the same mandate as the Botswana Digital and Innovation Hub. To start, I will say that indeed there is a huge potential for Africa. We need to fully unlock our intra-continental and global trade potential as a continent. And we do realize that indeed technology must become a central driver in doing so. And therefore, digital tools can dramatically reduce barriers, increase efficiency, and create new pathways for inclusive growth. So for us as a country, the starting point was to build the critical digital infrastructure. So we developed what we call Smart Botswana Strategy, which is a national digital transformation strategy, where we identified all stakeholders that are needed to realize our aspirations of a digital economy. So we looked at the private sector, we engaged the academia, the research institutions, as well as the public, to try and bring together all the players to create those strong partnerships, collaborations that are needed really if we were to leverage on technology to ensure that we achieve our objectives as stipulated within the National Digital Transformation Strategy. So one of the things that was also done as we rolled out the strategy was to expand our broadband coverage across rural and urban areas. Almost all rural areas and urban areas in Botswana, they do now have access to internet, which is a good thing given the fact that we also have sort of an educated workforce. I think we are sitting at about almost close to 90% in terms of our education sector. So that was really critical, just to build a base and ensure that, especially for startups and innovators, they do have access to internet, which will then enable them to be able to create those products and solutions that we need. We also expanded our electricity connection again to the rural areas, just to ensure that as we roll out this broadband as well as other solutions, there is electricity, which is critical in ensuring that we do have those solutions that we need as a country. And then what we also did was to work on our supportive regulatory environment to enable data flows and as well as cross-border innovation. So we worked on or developed our digital services policy really to provide some guidance there in terms of how we will want to access digital services. We also developed an open data policy where we are saying that we need to make data available to our startups, to our innovators, to the ecosystem really, to develop the solutions that we need as a country. We also developed the cybersecurity policy. We are currently in the process of finalizing our AI policy. So I take it that these are some of the regulatory legislation or frameworks that we really needed just to ensure that we provide that conducive environment. You will realize that a strong digital infrastructure really reduces transaction costs and it improves communication across markets and can connect African producers to global players. We also in the process of establishing what we call a Smart Bots Lab. This is a co-creation space for innovators to develop those unique products and services. So we've got some of the latest technologies, 3D printing, AI, virtual reality, gaming, just to provide that infrastructure to our innovators. We also recently launched our 3-tier data center, which is really critical for our data storage. As a country, it's a carrier-neutral data center, so anyone is welcome to access the services within the data center. The Botswana BDIH, Botswana Digital and Innovation Hub, is one of those, again, infrastructure that was developed by the government, again, to try and promote that innovation or the innovation ecosystem. So we sit in a special economic zone, meaning that those who set up within the park, they do have access to certain incentives, be it tax, be it labor, and any other incentives really that can be agreed. And we have strategic collaborations with other government institutions to ensure a seamless or a soft landing for all investors that may want to set up within Botswana. We also facilitate adoption of any technologies that are working out there. We are happy to facilitate their adoption here within the country. So we have had many institutions and organizations from the African continent actually making inquiries, and some of them we have facilitated their setups here. We have companies from Kenya coming to Botswana. They are currently setting up their operations here. I've had inquiries from Nigeria, as well as even other African countries. So we are really happy to facilitate in that regard as the Botswana Digital Innovation Hub. With regards to e-commerce, realizing that the small micro enterprises are the backbone of the African continent's economy. And we know that they often struggle with market access. So we have sort of facilitated some sort of solutions within that can benefit this sector. We have companies like Orange Botswana. They have come up with what they call Orange Money. It's a seamless mobile payment platforms that is available to our small or our startups. So we are also trying to develop other platforms that will provide regional online marketplaces to foster inter-trade, African trade. So we realize that entrepreneurs can reach customers across borders without a heavy capital investment if some of these platforms are available, especially e-commerce and digital marketplaces. With regards to fintech, we have helped to develop the Fintech Association in Botswana. We are working together with the Bank of Botswana on certain solutions. We have also, fortunately, were assisted with technical expertise as well as funding from UNECA to actually acquire some sandboxes. We'll make them available to our innovators, to our ecosystem, for them to be able to develop fintech solutions. We are looking at solutions around digital know your customer or identity systems to simplify the onboarding for small businesses, as well as instant cross-border payments networks integrated with the central banks. So we believe that with that, we'll be able to have faster, safer, and more inclusive trade transactions across or within Africa. The other thing that we are also working on as BDI, specifically on the youth, and as well as the digital skills. BDIH, one of our key responsibility is to provide some sort of capacitation or trainings to our innovators or our startups. So we do have incubation programs where we assist innovators right from ideation to commercialization. We also do have an accelerator program for those that have got some sort of a solution and they need to be launched into the market. So we do assist them with go-to-market strategies, business advisories, services, the art of pitching, and other interventions really for them to be able to launch into or commercialize their solutions. We also have what we call Botswana Innovation Fund. This is seed fund in the form of grants that we also provide to our innovators to grow their idea into a prototype. And then thereafter, we are able to launch them into the market. This was an intervention because we realized that most of our startups were struggling to have access to funding that can enable them to work on their solutions. In terms of digital skills, the government entered into a contract with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology to promote entrepreneurship in Botswana. It's a 5-year program. We just had the last cohort that the first cohort that graduated here in October, about 30 of them, and they made pitches to industry leaders, and some of them already have been contracted to provide solutions to various companies. So it's a critical intervention for us in terms of skills development. We have also partnered with the Amazon Web Services, where we are providing skills development around cloud computing. So we did realize there is a gap within the country in that space. So we then partnered with AWS to provide that intervention, especially for out-of-school youth and those that were not employed. So this was a critical intervention really for them. So we are looking at other areas as well, be it cybersecurity and other skill sets that are critical, especially if we are to achieve our aspirations of a digital economy. I think what is really key for African countries or government, as well as the private sector and regional bodies, really is harmonize the digital trade regulations in across Africa. So as BDI, we have also strongly advocated for government to engage other governments as well within Africa to harmonize our trade regulations so that we are able to promote trade within the African countries. Data protection and cybersecurity frameworks, again, there's need for collaboration between government, the private sector, as well as regional bodies. And also there's need for investment incentives for tech startups and digital infrastructure. We have been engaging various partners, Cisco, we've also talked to Visa, we've also talked to the likes of Microsoft, Google, for them, trying to provide them with some incentives so that they can help grow our digital space or assist in our digital transformation initiatives, realizing that a seamless digital trading ecosystem enabling movement of goods and services as well as data is really key for us to be able to reach our aspirations as a country and also as a continent. So for us, indeed, technology is not just a tool. We believe that it's an engine that will power Africa's trade transformation from mobile payments, then digital marketplaces to AI-enabled logistics and smart ports. Africa, we believe, is uniquely positioned to leapfrog traditional barriers. And by embracing innovation and strengthening digital ecosystems, We believe that African countries can unlock new trade corridors and empower millions of businesses and create a more and prosperous, integrated, as well as a competitive continent. So in a nutshell, that's what we are doing here as Botswana Digital Innovation Hub. For us, as I indicated, we are guided by the National Digital Transformation Strategy that was crafted for the country. And we are open to investment and to facilitate investment in Botswana, and also for our innovators to collaborate with other businesses within Africa so that they can tap into the vast African market, realizing that there are huge potentials for collaboration. I'll stop here, moderator. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Diana Mungudi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think there's a lot happening in Botswana. Honestly, I really think there's a lot happening in Botswana. I think Botswana is actually, it's a competition. I'm putting a competition out there because it seems that Botswana seems to be the place for tech investment right now, because I think things are really happening there. So I think we have to beat Botswana. I really think so, because from what Mr. Diane has talked about, and from the other
Can you hear me?
also talked about it. Also talked about what they are doing with their agency in Botswana in terms of tech. I think Botswana is really doing a lot to promote SMEs and tech in Africa. So I think Mr. Diane, thank you so much for your presentation. It was very insightful, and we definitely.
Can anyone hear me?
We definitely will be having more conversations with you about other initiatives that your innovation hub is actually doing in the nearest future. So thank you so much, Mr. Diana, once again. I'll be going on to the next speaker. I'll be introducing Mr. Adebayo Adewolu, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Triumph Limited. Mr. Adeolu he brings over 2 decades of expertise to his role as the Chief Executive Officer of Triumph Limited. He has been instrumental in developing Triumph's unique approach to, of course, venture investing. Triumph is a venture capital investing firm, and Mr. Adeolu has decades of experience in terms of tech investments, financial.
I can't hear them.
Financial expertise, and he'll be sharing his experience and expertise with us, and also telling us what Triumph is all about, what they are doing, their products, their services, and how they are using technology, how they're leveraging technology to build startups in not just Nigeria, but in Africa. So, okay, so Mr. Deolu, sorry, I don't know if you are hearing me. Are you hearing me, sir?
I can't hear you, but I understand you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well, sir.
I'm actually listening to my colleague. I'm on the phone with my colleagues. I'm listening to her earpiece. I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
That's fine.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. So
okay, excellent. So we'll just work with this then.
Okay.
I understand you have my slides.
Okay.
Yes, we have your slides. Yes.
We'll be.
Okay, please, if you don't mind, you can just put the slides.
Okay.
We can get started. I understand I have just 10 minutes, so I'll try and make it snappy. While the slides are being put up, I'll just sort of do an introduction. My name is Bayo, and I lead Triumph. Triumph is the digital venture builder, and we are part of the larger coronation ecosystem. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks to the team putting together this pre-conference webinar, and we would really just like to share some thoughts around how we see the acceleration of trade in Africa leveraging technology. You can please go to the next slide. I'm still on the first slide.
Just hold on a bit. We're working on it. Start to come up. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just start talking.
You can go on, sir. Maybe you can go on.
Okay, excellent.
Comes in. Yes.
So I mean, for us, we see intra-African trade as one of the big visions and stubborn fictions, you know, because there remains a gap of significant proportions. Only a small fraction of total trade happens within the continent as compared with other regions of the world. Of course, this provides a huge potential, but the frictions are very, very, very real. Without a doubt, the frictions that founders face and SMEs face is one of fragmentation. There are different rules, different custom standards, different processes in each country, and in fact, different languages as well. So because of that, of course, infrastructure gaps exist, both hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure. Moving goods across borders is slow and very expensive. And also there is significant information and trust gap because it's hard to know who to trust and how to get paid. So my takeaway from this is that the policies alone won't fix this. We need digital pipes connecting customs, logistics, payments, banks, and SMEs to be able to address this problem. So technology then serves as a new trade corridor because with technology, the trade corridors that cannot be built fast enough physically can then be condensed and dealt with digitally. And I see this happening under three broad segments. There's the first segment of digital payments and embedded finance, which is really driving low-cost, instant cross-border payments for SMEs to trade beyond their borders. So if somebody in Lagos wants to send fabric or fashion accessories to someone in Kenya, it should be payment should be easy. And even things like credit insurance, and FX are all embedded on platforms. So SMEs don't have to bother about foreign currency risk when they're shopping or having to go to tax. Second is around B2B, business to business marketplaces and platforms. So digital platforms that connect all the parties in an ecosystem to help digitize the experience. A small manufacturer, for instance, selling into multiple markets without the physical presence can just plug into a digital platform. And as we go ahead towards the end, I'll show you something that's already sort of in place attempting to address this. The third sort of segment is around data and visibility, which speaks to real-time transaction data being available, tracking for logistics, and just systems that build trust and provenance, that you can be sure that what you see is what you get. And of course, for this helps banks providers of capital able to be better able to predict risk, and of course, as they price risk into pricing, they can then provide better funding. And really, technology helps every manual opaque process in the trade value chain become a potential transformation opportunity. For us at Triumph, we're a venture builder, so we operate at the intersection of expertise, capital, and technology. We are pioneering in a sense because we do venture building very distinctly as opposed to venture capital. We don't just invest, we build or co-create viable, sustainable ventures. We identify an opportunity, assemble a team around that opportunity, build a product, test the market, and support scaling. And as we all know, for a lot of us on the continent, ideas are not the problem. The ideas are a dime a dozen. The biggest issue is around execution. And that's what we really manage, the execution risk. The right capital you need, the right networks you need, the right capabilities you need to ensure that a venture idea is sustainable and cash generative. So we identify and validate ideas, we build and midwife the process, we launch and operationalize. Of course, we invest and we scale, and then we create liquidity events as well. So for this digital trade conversation, I have identified 4 high impact opportunities, 4 high impact opportunity areas. The first is around trade logistics technology, which are essentially platforms that help with optimization of
Sorry, we have lost you. Lost you, Mr. Deolusa. We have lost you. I don't know. We can't hear you. You there?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. Yes, I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay, so this is actually much better. So I'm not sure the slides were up at some point. And not sure what you last heard.
We're having some technical. Our technical director is working on it. You could just do go on as soon as they rectify that. To pop up my screen.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you heard last, but I'll just continue from where I was to say that
Talking about the four high impact opportunities, the trade logistics and tech.
Excellent. So for me, trade logistics and tech. Obviously, there's also embedded trade finance and risk sharing, and this is an area where we've built some ventures around, which is really around helping banks and DFIs to embed things like receivables finance, factoring, reverse factoring, guarantees, insurance directly onto trade platforms. The other is around B2B marketplaces with real value chains that focus on things like agri, manufacturing, FMCG that connects suppliers, buyers across borders and embeds finance. And then the last is digital infrastructure. A lot of countries are now just beginning to come to the realization of the need for digital infrastructure, and this can be foundational. Things like being able to consume identity digitally, either personal identity, which is maybe a national identity number of some sort, or also corporate identity, which could be a legal entity identifier or a business name identifier. And this then builds into a KYC or that know your customer or know your business or know your partner type infrastructure. And the data layer then makes it easy for interoperability between all counterparties that need to essentially know they are dealing with, and enhance compliance across borders. So for us, we think that the next stage, and we're already beginning to see it really, the next stage is to move from policy to those digital pipelines that would give the AfCFTA the wings to fly, because the AfCFTA today gives us policy, but it's technology, capital, and disciplined execution that will determine whether trade really flows for African SMEs. So what are the next steps? For policymakers and DFIs, we need to design programs and facilities and sort of sandboxes that explicitly about logistics, tech, B2B marketplaces, and embeds finance in real value chains. For banks, we need to embrace things like open rails, especially I know in some markets, Nigeria, for instance, as the central bank is actively pushing open banking, which essentially then allows informed consent from data owners, for data owners to share their data with an ecosystem that just unlocks the potential for value creation, right? So things like open rails for distribution is a big thing for banks and corporates, rather than trying to do everything in-house and operating in silos. And for founders and innovators, to anchor innovation where there's trade and cash flows, not just trade, but cash flows. I think if there's anything we've learned is that founders and innovators need to build sustainable businesses, and not just businesses that are aiming for a valuation exit. Businesses that generate cash. I mean, like they say, cash is king, right? And if possible, partner. And that brings me to the last point I wanted to make, which is around an exemplar of this sort of initiative, which for me, the biggest example of this is, if you go to the last slide, please, the biggest example of this is Afreximbank's Africa Trade Gateway. I don't know how many people on the call know about the ATG, which Afreximbank calls Africa Trade Gateway. It's a digital ecosystem that puts together 5 platforms, right? There's a diligence platform called MAMSA. There's a Pan-African payments platform called PAPS. There's a trader club platform called, there's a trade data intelligence platform called Trader Club. There's ATEX, which is like a B2B and B2G and business to government marketplace. And there's ATG Connect, which is like a logistics and services marketplace. All of this is digital. All of this is accessed through one platform. And I think I put a link to the platform at the bottom of the slide there. So a platform like this speaks to, I think, almost all those 4 areas I mentioned earlier. There's the B2B engagement on ATEX, the Africa Trade Exchange. There is also the trust and payments and finance rails that MAMSA builds trust, because it helps with legal entity identification and essentially significantly easing the KYC and KYB and the enhanced customer due diligence requirements necessary to do business with partners. And PAPS obviously deals with payments, allowing for Pan-African real-time gross settlement for transactions in local currencies. And we've got also a trade link, which is like a platform that allows for supply chain financing digitally. So if anything, is to say that while the challenges exist, we are seeing DFIs partnering with innovators, partnering with ecosystem partners, in some cases partnering with central banks, because PAPS also has central banks across the country, across continents signing on. So we've seen this sort of convening to help start the transformation of this digital trade infrastructure across the continent. So that's all from me. That's all I wanted to share. Very happy to take questions or comments from the audience. And I also want to thank the organizers for inviting me once again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Deolu. Thank you so much. That was very insightful, and I must say that your organization Triumph is really doing a lot, not just in Nigeria but in Africa, filling a very important void through through tech solutions. One of the things that you talked about, which I took very, very seriously, was when you talked about you are not a venture capitalist, you are venture builders, and I think that resonates very well with how Africa should actually approach tech startup funding and building tech startups, because a lot just do investments, just bring capital without actually having to be part of the business to help the business build. I like the fact you're talking about co-creation, which means you actually build together with the startup, share ideas, share networks, and in that way you are definitely able to collaborate better and be able to bring out a far better product. So I think that is a take home for me. So for other people listening too. Also, you talked about these 5 platforms, the high impact opportunities, trade logistics tech, the embedded trade finance, the B2B marketplaces, and digital infrastructure. I don't know if there are there any projects that your organization have actually co-created at the moment that's actually solves actually is part of any of these 4 impact segments that you put out. Would like to know if there are startups that are under your organization that address some of these areas we're talking about.
Interestingly, we've got startups that are at the intersection of embedded trade finance and digital infrastructure for trust, and even sort of B2B marketplaces. One of our ecosystem of startups is called Fiducia. Fiducia is an ecosystem that is digitizing the supply chain financing market. We launched in Nigeria about 3 years ago, and we are currently in a Pan-African rollout across 6 African countries. And really, what it does is really what I just spoke to. We're embedding trade finance on the platform, allowing people to access their working capital faster. We're embedding trade credit insurance on that platform, so there's embedded insurance. We're embedding KYC utilities on that platform as well, so that digital identity in Nigeria's instance, there's the NIN for individuals, there's the RM number for RC number for corporates, there's a business name number for business names. That's coming through the Central Corporate Affairs Commission. And we're just using all of these data points to help build trusted platforms that people know who they're dealing with, create an infrastructure for trust, create a registry for invoice transactions, plug it into national infrastructure like the recently launched e-invoicing platform from the tax authority, and just using all of that to create an opportunity that helps de-risk business, first of all in Nigeria, and ultimately then leveraging on Pan-African platforms like PAPS and ATG that I mentioned to scale across the continent. So that's one. We've built something else in partnership with an exchange group in Nigeria that helps the capital formation for things like rights issues and public offers, which also speaks to the digital infrastructure play. We're also in conversations around similar digital infrastructure plays for capital markets, for broader identity, solving the identity issues around probate and the probate administration process. And and even things around employee benefits management and how employee benefits can then be made more embedded and employee benefits being more accessible, such that employees have access to the benefits they probably don't even know are available to them in probably embedded in some employment contract somewhere, unlocking all those opportunities to help provide a better employee experience for people. So there's quite a lot going on. Happy to take comments or questions from people who are interested in partnering in whatever area that's of interest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. There's one something else that I heard you talk about earlier, and I think that also struck a chord in me because you talked about, and it's something that is very, very familiar in the tech startup space, especially when it comes to raising rounds. A lot of tech startups, just you said something that cash flow. Make sure you're running a real business. Your real business has cash flow. Focus more on the cash flow than just trying to raise capital. And I think this is where a lot of startups in Africa seem to be getting it wrong. A lot of startups right now are just looking to raise capital as fast as they can, without actually studying the business, without actually trying to make the business grow. Focusing on their cash flow and is it actually a real business? Is it actually solving a real problem? And this problem they're solving, is it viable enough to sustain the business? I think those are key, things that a lot of startups should be thinking about. So I really love that point, and I think it's a take home that cash flow is very key. And if there are any opportunities you have for young innovators who are with us here live, if there are any opportunities that you have in terms of I said venture building co-creating with innovators or things like that. If any kind of opportunity, maybe you can use the opportunity to share a few. There are some opportunities for startups to partner with your organization. Maybe this is an opportunity to just shed a few light on that briefly before we go to the next speaker.
Thank you. We particularly like to take on challenges that are of structural significance, right? So challenges that create market infrastructure, challenges that unlock value, challenges that require significant convening, because it's in solving those kind of big challenges that you make real impact, and then you create value for people, right? So we're not just looking to build another payments business, or we're looking to build ecosystems, market infrastructure that unlocks, that removes friction, structural friction. And in some cases, it could mean laws will be rewritten. In one of the cases that we worked on, we've had to be part of extensive lobbying for the passage of a bill at the National Assembly. I'm talking about that kind of scale of, because you just get to a point and you realize that the biggest hindrance to unlocking a market, for instance, is some archaic law that's just been in the books for 100 years and nobody has thought of changing it. And when you then start to build consensus around the need to create value and unlock capital, in some cases unlock value, you engage with the regulators, engage with government, engage with DFIs, and engage with the private capital, and you mobilize and convene a coalition of the willing, as I like to put it. And very, very transformational things can happen. So it could be significant government partners who are looking to unlock financing for, say, MSMEs. It could be exchange groups who are looking to unlock capital formation channels. It could be, MSMEs who are looking to unlock trade corridors across economic regions. All of that are things that we're familiar with. The advocacy around it, the capital around it, the expertise around it, the engagements around it, especially with especially with DFIs and other supranational bodies. We work very closely with the IFC. We work closely with the AfCFTA Bank. We're beginning to work closely with BII. We're beginning to work closely with also the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, starting to develop relationships with the AfDB. So it's very interesting times, I must say. And if there are partners on the call who are looking for market entry partners in some cases, because like I said, we belong to an ecosystem. So our ecosystem also supports us and gives us a leverage to convene, right? And gives us access to partners and gives us access to licenses and permits that helps to significantly reduce time to market and helps to significantly reduce access to regulations or regulators, right? So happy to collaborate, put together a coalition of the willing and take on Africa's biggest challenges, thereby creating value and solving problems that have impact.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Adebayo Adewolu there. I like the word you said, coalition of the willing. Coalition of the willing.
Yes.
Love that. I love that, sir.
Yeah.
I love that. Coalition of the
Yeah.
willing. Yeah. Yes, sir. So that's Mr. Adebayo Adewolu, the MD CEO of Triumph Venture Capital there. It's a pleasure having you
Triumph
here
Limited,
today,
because I said we are not venture capital, right? So it's Triumph Limited.
Triumph Limited. Sorry about Triumph Limited.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure having you
Thank
today.
you so
We
much.
have learned so much, and we hope to have you here again to even speak more about the elephant strides, of course, you are making in the tech space and the startup space. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very
Once
much.
again.
It's,
Thank you.
yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
We will be moving to the next speaker, Benji Fenberg. Benji Fenberg is the CEO and founder of SEDA. He has, of course, lived and worked in diverse geographies. He grew up in South Africa, though, studied law, and has an MBA in INSEAD, France. He will be speaking here today on telling us how what his organization is all about, and how the organization is leveraging tech to actually solve problems, not just Africa, but the world. He has a very, very impressive profile and CV here that, in fact, it is very intimidating. If I start reading it here, I don't think we will, for lack of time, I don't think we will be here today. So, Mr. Benji Fenberg, please, you can take the floor now and tell us about your organization and how tech can facilitate trade in Africa, and what your organization, how your organization is leveraging this medium. Thank you so much, sir. You can take the floor.
Thank you very much for the time. I apologize, my camera is off. I'll put it on a second, like the previous speaker from Botswana, just that you can see I'm actually a real person. But as you can also see, because the time went over, I needed to jump in a car because I needed to get to the airport. But happy to talk, and I hope, despite the fact that you can't see my face, at least you can hear my voice and my message comes across clearly. It's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to be here, and it's a good timing actually also, because coming in after, and I'm careful about my words now, a venture builder is exactly the right timing for me, because ultimately my profile and background is the founder. So it's the other side of that coin. We're the kind of people who, together with the venture builders, the venture capitalists, we build companies. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. This is my third company in the world of fintech. So I'm very much what they say in the weeds, very much building something on a day-to-day basis that's focused. The problem that we have is we need to be very focused. We can't be so generalist because of the nature of what we're doing. For me, trade and world trade, when we came together to build this third venture, because I had the privilege of being a repeat founder and kind of working together with the investors to see how we would attack a problem, we looked at the world really, and we saw that one of the biggest unsolved problems, let's call it, or biggest places for innovation in technology, in fintech, is around international business payments. International business payments is around 200 trillion a year. In other words, 200 trillion a year is total payments. About 95 is international business payments. The rest is consumer. So, although consumer seems to be things like remittances and digital money seems to be a big number, it's actually a pretty small number relative to business payments. And trade is obviously driven by business payments. So, if you look at the world market of payments, 95% of it is business payments, and it's all running on infrastructures that were invented in the 1970s. The correspondent banking network was invented, SWIFT was invented in 1970s, and letters of credit were invented in 1930s, nearly 100 years ago. So in a world where we're coming in to innovate with technology in fintech, we're looking at infrastructures that are 50 years old. And like I tell everyone, when your phone is 2-3 years old, then you get a new phone. You couldn't use a phone from 50 years ago. It just I don't even know if it would work. But somehow when you send money, you send it through the correspondent banking network that was built, 50 years ago. So it's a big challenge to innovate in these markets, but it's also a big prize. Like in the previous conversation, a very big structural issues that need to be changed. At some point, we believe that, the banking payments network will be optimized more efficiently than through SWIFT. And that brings me to CEDAR, which obviously, once we kind of got the mandate to build a payments company, we double-clicked on where the best opportunities were. Given the fact that all our institutional investors were actually from the US, obviously my background is in Africa, and we saw there's a huge opportunity between Africa and the developed world. Many times trade is obviously between Africa and the developed world, but also intra-Africa. And there's a lot of place for innovation because paradoxically, even though Africa is many times, even the cost of doing business is even many times higher in Africa than the rest of the world. So for us, just pure pragmatically as a business, we saw the opportunity in Africa, and was like also said in the previous conversations, you ultimately do need to build a business that makes money, because it's hard to justify. Ultimately, businesses that are driven and cash is king, etc. That's what creates a healthy dynamic to build a successful business for change. So sometimes you can have great ideas, but if you're not driving the business drivers, then many times that doesn't work. So, there's a big opportunity, candidly, to build a business around payments in Africa. There's also another opportunity, I think, in tandem to build it with trade, to build credit, which is another business that I built in the past. I think, trade, credit, and payments is very connected, and it's also very interesting for Africa. I'm very bullish on how we can do it and why we can do it, because I think that if you look at telcos and you look at mobile money, you see that Africa is actually of the most advanced continents in the world. And the reason why that is because in the more developed world, there's an installed base that you have to replace. But when you came with mobile money in Africa, or you came even with mobile phones in Africa, you could straight away go to generation 4. You didn't have to replace generation 1 and 2 that you needed to do in the US. So suddenly in the US, generation 1 or 2, and in Africa, you're building from scratch. So you build generation 4. So that's just my way of saying that actually, when you're trying to build big infrastructural changes around, let's say, payments in my case, the fact that the gaps are bigger is actually a big opportunity to innovate. And ultimately, again, we have the proxies of telecommunications. We have the mobile phones all over Africa now, the networks working, bringing internet data. The same thing with mobile money on the consumer side. And really, what we're looking to do is just bring in the latest wave of technology and do the same thing as, let's call it, what mobile money does on the consumer side for businesses. Now, it's more complicated on the business side because of KYC, KYB compliance. getting the money through the banking system. So there's a lot of other hurdles, but fundamentally, if you can combine compliance and new infrastructure, new pipes, then you can build something that's both very impactful, both also a good business, and also has a real positive impact on the economy, because of course it'll drive down the costs of doing business. So that's me in a nutshell. That's Cedar in a nutshell. We've started operations. As I said, we've got funding from some of the best VCs in the world in fintech, and we've started operations around Africa, mostly in West Africa at the moment. Happy to answer questions, and happy to and very excited about the next steps in the journey.
Thank you, Mr. Benjio. You said something about your fintech started operations in West Africa. I don't know if you can shed more light on which countries and which countries in West Africa, and what are your plans to actually scale to other parts of Africa? Because I'm definitely sure other parts of Africa would need your solution too there. So what are your plans? First of all, where are you already operating now, and what are your plans to actually scale to other parts of Africa?
So we're operating in Ghana, in Nigeria, and also to a certain extent in South Africa. We've done a few transactions also in ZAF countries, in Francophone countries. I think our big, Africa is a huge continent, and we want to be careful that we don't try and boil the ocean, but rather really build something that works. Our real aim is to show that there's on the trade corridors, typically there's one corridor, let's say in Africa, and the other node would be in the US or in Europe or in Asia. And where we are as a company now is to get enough of a infrastructure in place to show that, because ultimately the funds have to go out into the banking system, into the developed world, let's call it in Hong Kong or in London. And we're building processes out of West Africa that show that when we make a payment, let's say from Nigeria or from Ghana to London or to New York, the banks there are able to, in a very efficient manner, in a more technology-driven manner, digest the payments. Many times, because of the lack of infrastructure in Africa, it's harder for them to underwrite the businesses, although they're bona fide good businesses. So you have many times false positives, which is obviously good businesses that deserve to be underwritten, that are blocked in the banking system, because the banking system is saying, basically what the banking system is saying is we don't know how to underwrite them because we don't recognize the profiles. So we're very fixated on that, which is, just getting the corridors right and getting the legitimacy right, and showing that there are many, many good actors who need to make payments out of Africa, into Africa, and around Africa. And the banking system should, as they grow and get confidence in us and with what we're doing, then we can expand. But for me, typically the challenge of a founder is, on the one hand, you think you have to conquer the world and build a big business. On the other hand, you have to be very, very focused, because, as I said, you cannot do everything at once. You're a small company with limited resources. Even as you grow, you still have limited resources. So we're very careful about getting it right and being very focused on our knitting. And then obviously in the future we can expand once we have the proof of concept.
Okay, that's very insightful. Very, very, very insightful. Very, very insightful. As a fintech, I understand. You start small, and of course, before you scale and you expand. And of course, we understand of the financial system, especially the banking. You talked about the challenges you faced with the banking system and all that. And we know that's a very huge challenge for some fintechs in terms of policies, licensing, so many of those kind of things. You understand, because each and every region that you want to expand to, you definitely have to get new licenses and new permits and new policies too that will actually guide and regulate you. So it's it's very, very understandable. But so far, so good. We must commend you. You're already in the playing field, and you're already bringing your solution is already being used by numbers of businesses and individuals around West Africa. We can't wait.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
And I
yes,
just add something. I just add something which I always say at conferences, because I think it is important. It dovetails exactly with what you mentioned. I always give these two data points because I think they're very insightful. If you look at the top 10 companies in market cap in the world, the average establishment date was, call it 1980, which means that if you look at Microsoft and Google and you take the top 10 companies, you see they're very new companies, right, in the world, which means that technology has really changed the world, and the companies from 100 years ago don't exist because the Microsofts and the Googles and the Teslas have changed the world. So technology is very impactful. So that's data point number one. Data point number two is, if you do the same exercise with the biggest financial institutions in America, you see that the average age is not 1980 but 1860. And that's a very crazy statistic, because how is it possible that the banks are so old and the biggest companies in the world are so new? And the answer is very simple. It's exactly what you said. It's around regulation. So you have to understand, when you're building a fintech, that of course you're doing the tech, but if you don't get the fin right, and the fin is regulation, it's going to be very hard to build a new company. It's not a matter of just embracing technology and building a new company. You have to get the regulation right, and that's a challenge to deal with.
Thank you, Mr. Benji. Thank you so much. I really understand what you're saying, and I really love the statistics that you use now. Talk about our businesses back then and businesses, the statistics of businesses, and that's due to a lot of regulatory hindrances and things like that. So yes, understand that. But as I say, you just have to keep on going. There's always space for everybody to fly. So kudos to you. Kudos to your company, Cedar. And we definitely hope to have you here again, talk more and about Cedar and how you have been able to solutions and services.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fintech services, fintech services to Africans. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak here.
You're welcome. Thank you. And we'll be moving to the next speaker, Catherine J. Harris Camo. Catherine J. Harris Camo is the Secretary General, Liberia Chamber of Commerce. Presenting the Secretary General is Ms. Amanda Hill. She's the Executive Council Member, Liberia Chamber of Commerce. So they'll be telling us what Liberia. I hope Liberia will be able to beat Botswana, because Botswana seems to be leading in terms of initiatives and their strides in providing solutions for their SMEs and for the SMEs in their country. So I think Botswana is a country to beat now. So I don't know. I hope Liberia will be able to beat Botswana, so things will balance. So please take the floor. I'm Amanda Hill. Please take the floor and tell us what Liberia is doing in terms of commerce.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm in a place where I really can't show my background, so you'll have to let me see if I can do it quick. I don't know if I can show myself quickly. No, my background is not too attractive because I'm kind of traveling in between. So Catherine is away, so I am helping her today. As regarding Botswana and Liberia, I'm not a big soccer fan. So if that's what you are referencing, is that what you are referencing in your introduction?
No. We're just saying that Botswana really gave us a lot of initiatives. Hope Liberia has similar or at least better or similar initiatives. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. So I put this short PowerPoint together, and so hate to read it, but I'm just here to summarize how Africa can accelerate regional and global trade by embracing digital infrastructure, interoperable payments, smart logistics, and trusted data systems. We've heard it before earlier that the core idea is simple. Digital trade reduces friction, lowers costs, and expands opportunities, especially for MSMEs. And as you all know, our micro enterprises are the hardest hits when it comes to dealing with technology because they are not funded as well. So the opportunity, digital trade is now a multi-trillion-dollar global market. Across the African Union, their strategic engine for economic transformation, job creation, and poverty reduction. And we're all in Africa, and we definitely understand how large our unemployment is, especially when it relates to youth. And they're the most attractive to technology. So we can harness that youth and technology. I think we will scale exponentially when it comes to technology. So we have emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, IoT, cloud, that are already reshaping trade across the continent. But as you know, when it comes to Africa, they always mention the dark continent, and we think is the color, but it's not. It's the lack of power and energy. So even in my own country, we struggle with infrastructure when it comes to energy. So all of these are excellent, but can we support it? Do we have the infrastructure? Okay, and as mentioned earlier, to go forward, we need to have collaboration among our government, private sector, and development partners. And if you attend as many meetings as I do, you understand that it's always challenging when it comes to financing and partnering. So the core technology levers, there's 6. We have here e-customs, digital signal windows, risk-based inspections, and this is all to reduce clearance time and informal costs. Then you have interoperable payments, instant cross-border rails, mobile money integrations. This unlocks regional transaction, especially for SMEs. And if you travel across the African region, I was just in Ghana, I don't even think they have money in their hands anymore. Every kid I met, they do everything on their phones. They don't have cash in their hands. So we are well positioned when it comes to bringing in technology, but hopefully we can support it. The next thing is smart logistics, digital freight platforms, e-waybills, real-time tracking, corridor visibility, and predictable delivery reduces inventory risk and spoilage. And if you talk to women, especially women who trade across, I mean, I'm in the West African region. I'm not sure about all the challenges when it comes to women in East Africa, but especially in West Africa, that is very challenging. They lose a lot of their revenue and opportunities when it comes to spoilage, trying to get through that corridor to get to the next country. We can go to the next slide. Okay. Then the next 3 are the trusted data and digital identity, standards for e-invoicing, product data, identity systems, lower fraud, and accelerate trade finance, e-commerce enablement, marketplace onboarding, digital addressing, last mile partners, again, MSME toolkits, scale seller participation, and export diversification. And that's a major one for us here in West Africa. Export, we're very challenged. Our fees are extremely high, and it's very, very challenging for the the region that I'm in here in West Africa. And a lot of our entrepreneurs, our companies that are part of the chamber, this is one of their major challenges, exporting. Then we have public-private platforms, coalitions that align policy, finance, and technology essential for regional adoption. Just example, here at our chamber, we work a lot with the foreign ministry. We work a lot with the deputy minister. They have a lot of engagement with colleagues across the borders. So we really, our chamber specifically has really been working with them to engage so that we can take a lot of the technology and processes from different countries to bring it to Liberia. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, and then we talk about other regions and offer useful lessons. There's Asia, Europe. Asia is very mature real-time payments network and digital port community systems. Our chamber just opened an office in China. We have a Chamber of Commerce in China now, and we have a very active membership when it comes to our Chinese counterparts, our companies. In Europe, strong harmonized standards for SEPA, PSD, EIDAS, support trusted cross-border services. A lot of this technology is exciting, but as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to support for this, for the infrastructure and implementing it, is something that we definitely have to work together regionally to help implement. When it comes to Africa's advantage, is what I mentioned earlier, mobile first penetration and widespread digital wallets. That's key. That is definitely something that we can support in Africa. We have the population and the technology is not as complicated. We have a lot of excellent GSM companies that are able to implement this. So that is an advantage that we can definitely use to get online and on board with the technology. Africa's gaps, interoperability, corridor visibility, and consistent standards across borders. And that is definitely our challenge here in our region. And I apologize for speaking specifically to West Africa, but that's where I am. That is our challenge. You can go to Sierra Leone, it's different. You go to, Ghana, you go to Togo, all different challenges, and trying to get through those borders, especially when it comes to money exchange. Fortunately, this is just information. Our GSM companies now, we're able to pay in different currency to our neighbors. So as I mentioned here, this mobile first penetration, because of the mobile wallet, is really helpful for our GSM, for our cross-border trading, especially for our market women, which is very, we have a very extensive network of market women. They participate significantly in the cross-border trading. Okay, and we have priority interventions next 12 to 24 months, what to focus on, especially depending on your focus area, digitize and harmonize border processes, upgrade single windows, e-certificates, very important, risk inspections. All of this generates faster clearance and better compliance. That is definitely something that a lot of our cross-border partnerships are working on in this region. Also, when it comes to connect mobile money with bank rails, KYC, AML, pilot Forex corridors, and this speeds up the settlement and reduces cash bottlenecks. And I will add to that, when we do the cross-border trading here in West African region, we have a lot of issues with cash, how one, how it is, basically taking a lot from our women. You know, they're given one price and another, they get there is something else. So they spend hours on the border trying to negotiate cash payments for their goods. So this mobile money connect is very, very important. And then we have smart logistics. Oh, you're going further. That's okay. We can go forward. Okay, thank you. Smart logistics at corridor scale, where we mandate e-way bills, shared check-in standards, and open APIs. This e-way bills extremely important when it comes to managing waste and understanding from one country to the next, making sure that when they're looked at, it's the same. Our women are challenged significantly with way bills and how they are reviewed by the inspections when they go through those corridors. And as it says here, it reduces transit delays and supply chain losses. And as I mentioned, that is another big challenge for our women who do the cross-border trading here. We can go to the next one. Trusted data frameworks, regional standards for e-invoicing, product data, digital identity. Of course, this enables financing and reduces fraud. Our colleagues in East Africa have done extremely well with this. We've met with them, and they're excellent at managing this process. In West Africa, we're still working on that. But East Africa, they have such great connectivity and infrastructure that they're really able to manage this process effectively. And so they're definitely, a region to understand and to work with when it comes to this particular area. MSME e-commerce enablement, storefront subsidies, onboarding playbooks, tax-friendly micro-compliance, expands seller base and formalizes revenue. All that is very important, but the SME part is great, but the micro is always the challenge. Cross-continental investment platforms, public-private coalitions for infrastructure and policy, and this builds an investable project pipeline and accelerates replication. And all that is very good, and if we all come together and partner and understands lessons, get some good lessons learned, we can do that. But again, that's always a challenge when it comes to cross-continental investment platforms. We can go to the next. Finance and risk. Okay, we can go to.
I like the way you said,
Yeah.
finance and risk.
Yeah. Okay. We have this implementation roadmap, a practical phased approach. Oh, you want to skip that one? Okay, we can go to finance and risk. Yes, this right here is that is it. That is when it comes to small businesses, micro businesses, even medium businesses. In Liberia, well, in most countries, like in the U.S., a small business is like sometimes $200,000-$300,000. Liberia, that will be a big business. And so the risk here is very, very, the risk is large here. Financing is challenging. So when we do here, to scale digital risk, we must unlock capital responsibly. And this is digital trade finance, supply chain financing, and e-invoice factoring using standardized APIs. Risk management, cybersecurity, compliance by design, and fraud monitoring. You have to build those infrastructures, and it's very important for the region here. Our bigger countries like Ghana and Nigeria, they're investing significantly in cybersecurity. Liberia is coming on board, but as you go to the smaller countries like Togo, Sierra Leone, those things are wished for, but not truly implemented. But and a lot of other countries within Africa are also facing this challenge. But in East Africa, again, like Rwanda, those type countries, they're way ahead of us in this area. And then we have public instruments where you do blended finance guarantee to de-risk logistics and payments infrastructure. That is something that in our region is being worked on. Like I said, the bigger countries, they have more access. The smaller countries have more challenges, but that is the finance and risk aspect of it. The smaller your country is, the more risk and less access to finance, which is unfortunate. And the larger your country is, there's more access, even though there is risk. You have more individuals willing to partner into finance. So that's a challenge that a lot of the smaller countries in Africa are trying to manage through. Okay. Can we go to the next slide?
The next slide, please. Next slide, please. Because of time, we will just be rounding up quicker. Just so the other participants who are on the call know, all slides, all presentations will be available on our website, www.africantradeexhibition.com. So in case of if you missed anything out here, the participants can always go there to the website to get the information from our website. Okay, please go on. Please go on.
Oh, okay. I don't have to go through all of it, but we do have for the implementation. Well, I think we've been through implementation. I think, did we go through oh no, okay, implementation, KPIs to track, okay, great, risk mitigation. Let me open mine because that seems to be smaller. I'm wearing glasses. So let me make it bigger for myself, or we can go to closing, whichever is best for you. But my presentation is there, and I focus a lot on in West Africa in my country because it's where I'm located and know the most about when it comes to technology. But in closing, all the access to interoperable payments, digitized borders, logistics visibility, and trusted data supported by MSME e-commerce at scale. They all can be used to reduce costs, compress clearance times, and expand markets. If we're disciplined, we can definitely, as I said here, leapfrog global competitors using mobile first strength, which is our strength here in Africa, the access to use mobile systems, something that's portable in our hands and technology-wise, very easy to manage. And if anyone has questions, please let me know if you have questions about how it works here in Liberia or lessons learned. Interested.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samantha.
Yes.
That was very, very insightful. In fact, I think Liberia is doing well. It's doing part with Botswana now, I think, because of the presentation, from the interventions, priority interventions that you put together, it shows that Liberia is on the right path, technology-wise. I saw a lot of ideas there. I saw a lot of concepts and things that also challenges too. Like you talked about the fact that Liberia is a small country, and small countries actually have kind of challenges getting access to funds.
Yes.
Reference to like $100,000 funding in America is pretty small, but America is much. But the problem is that smaller countries, there's always that risk of maybe the market risk, technology risk, and things like that. But you see, That's why platforms like Africa Trade Exhibition is here to actually kind of like lessen that gap, bridge that gap. Because once what we're trying to do now is to put Africa in one box, in one economic box, you know. So it's not about Liberia now. It's like Liberia to Africa. It's like Africa to Liberia. So it's everybody. It's actually in one box. So Liberia is benefiting from the funding pool coming to Africa. It's not just looked at Liberia. It's looked at the solution. Yes, it might be from Liberia, but the market is Africa. So those are one of the gaps that Africa Trade Exhibition is also trying to bridge. So we are very happy to continue. I think from what you said, and I think a lot of people are beginning to open their checkbooks. I'm beginning to look at how they can bring investments to Liberia. Yes,
Definitely.
So thank you so much, Amanda.
We're open for business. We're open for business. So if you are a tech company or, you know, and you're interested in Liberia, this is definitely a place to come to assess, to see where you can find yourself. We have a young population hungry for technology, and we have access to the world here. We have the best people, best beaches, and very, very customer focused. So when you come to Liberia, you definitely have a foundation and a platform to work from. So, and with the chamber, you have instant access. So any of you who are out there, please, if you're looking at opportunities, my information is here, our chamber is here, and technology is fertile ground here in Liberia. So if you're looking for good soil to plant in, come to Liberia.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, I'll just in case you're joining us on this call, all presentations will be available on our website at www.africatradeexhibition.com. Just go to the website and go to our blog page. Get all the information of this webinar and all the presentations. So in case you missed any of the presentations, you can go back there to get that. And also the details and contacts of our speakers and very important guests today that shed light and insights on what the moves and the things that they are doing to actually bring about technological advancements in Africa and encourage and promote African business and African trade through technology. So all this information will be available. Thank you once again, Samantha Hill. Going on to the next speaker, Mr. Precious Tom. Precious Tom is Chief Executive Officer of PandaScroll. PandaScroll is a fintech company in Nigeria. And, this is one of the fintech revolutions that we have seen coming out of Africa. I must say, it's a big solution, providing a big solution, or rather providing a solution to a very big problem in terms of trade payments in Africa. So, Precious Tom, you have the floor. Tell us about what PandaScroll is. What are your services? What are your products? And about the journey so far, and how you feel tech is very important in facilitating trade in Africa, and how your solution helps achieve this. So the floor is yours, Mr. Precious.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ike, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Precious Tom, and like the previous speakers who have spoke, I am quickly just going to turn on my video camera just for a bit and then turn it off much later. Okay, so I Awesome. So I had to just show my face so you see I'm a real person. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn off my camera now so I can speak efficiently. Yeah, so my name is Precious Storm, and I am the CEO of Pandas Grow. So let me begin by thanking the African Trade Exhibition for their hospitality and my fellow speakers for their incredible insights, perspective of all we've heard today. Okay. So we've discussed digital infrastructure, we've discussed policy, we've discussed investments, and we've discussed innovation. And we've heard all the challenges and immense opportunity. This has been a rich conversation, I would say. Now, as the last speaker, I hope I am, my role is not to add another complex layer, but to help synthesize this into clear, actionable paths forward and how we move from talking about accelerating trade to actually doing it. And the answer lies in a single powerful idea. We must build the digital highway of trust. And that brings me to what Pandas Grow really is about and how Pandas Grow contributes to the trust aspect of trade. Now, think about everything we've discussed today, the low rate of intra-Africa trade, the struggles of our SMEs, the barrier of cross-border payments. At the heart of it all, the fundamental gap is trust. So buyers don't trust that they'll receive the goods. Sellers don't trust that they will get paid. The fear is the biggest break on our continent's trade engine. And this brilliant news is that we now have the tool to solve this. Technology allows us to engineer trust directly into the transaction process. And that is what we've built at Pandas Grow. So a brief introduction to what Pandas Grow is about. At Pandas Grow, we see this not as a future, but as our core mission. We are building one of those essential digital highway, an escrow service that is practical, applicable to the principles of buyers securing their funds and sellers shipping with confidence. And this payment is only released upon delivery. And the simple concept is it unlocks monumental potential. But this isn't just about Pandas Grow. The insights from today's webinar points to a broader ecosystem we must build together. So let me put this into 3 calls to actions, okay? The first one will be the businesses, how businesses would integrate trust. Sorry, I did not come with any slide because I want to talk to you directly as opposed to reading from a deck, okay? So hear me out. First, for businesses, integration of trust. Make trusted payment system like escrow stand as part of your trade agreements. This isn't just a safety measure, it is a competitive advantage, allowing you to trade fearlessly across border. I'm going to paint a better picture. So I would like to think of myself as a software engineer who exports services as a skill to possibly clients within or beyond the African demography. Oftentimes, my services are required more often than not, but then there's always that crucial factor of, can you deliver? Can I trust you? If escrow as a service is part of your standard trade agreement, what this will do for both of us is, one, it will give you that security that, yes, if you do not get the value you paid for, your money is still secure. To me, what it will do is it would unlock me to a larger audience of people who need my services without the limitation of trust. And that is your competitive advantage. Now, second, let's take this a step further for investors to fund the foundation. So let's look beyond the consumer app. I think Africa is getting to a point where we need to look into investing in infrastructure, okay? And the company building the rails for payments, for digital identity and verification, these are the multipliers that will enable thousands of other businesses to thrive. And so as an investor, I would plea that you shift your focus from investing into just software as a services, which is SaaS, to investing in infrastructure, because on infrastructure, businesses will thrive. Okay. And then the third is for all of us here, right? So let us champion interoperability. So the true acceleration would happen when our systems talk to each other, when logistic API connects seamlessly with payment gateway, when e-commerce platforms connect seamlessly with payment gateway. So let us commit to building bridges, not just silos. So what this means in essence is trash pay, trash pay coin, and so many other credible startups building a great solution. If we can come together as opposed building in silos to build bridges where each of our systems talk to each other, then this would leave us with the acceleration where Africa would scale, grow beyond, not just within. So as we leave this virtual room today, let us carry this unified mission. And the vision I would like to have or add to the vision AfCFTA already has is we have the technology, okay? We have the entrepreneurial spirit, okay? Let us combine them. Let us commit to being the architect of a new Africa, the Africa where trade flows freely and where ideas are shared here today. An Africa where small businesses owners has the same tool, the same opportunity, and the same multinational corporation. So let us build a future that is not just connected, but trustworthy. A future that is not just self-sufficient, but collectively prosperous. And that would be the one word I would leave, possibly as the last speaker today. And I hope that we do not leave here with just talks, but then we implement and actually build the future we dream of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Precious Tom. Wow, that was really a speech. In fact, it was also, and it's not just your technical press of the terms that you used to talk about how technology will actually help with facilitating trade, especially in the AfCFTA. But you also gave some kind of inspirational messages on how Africa can go to the next level. I think the word that summarizes all most of the things you said, I think, is collaboration. I think you talked a lot about that we cannot get there alone and build bridges instead of silos. So Africa needs to come together. Stakeholders need to come together and work together. Work together. The e-commerce platform should be able to peer seamlessly, integrate seamlessly with payment gateways. The B2B platforms should integrate seamlessly with escrow platform, of course, escrow platforms like Pandas. So I think it was well spoken. So Mr. Precious, we really good to have you. We hope that you'll be here again to shed more light on what Pandasco is, the strides Pandasco is taking to actually solve the problem of trust amongst trade in Africa. That word you use, trust. It's like the bedrock of everything we're talking about. Because without trust, there's no trade. That's just the truth. Without trust, there is no trade. And the more we have solutions like Pandasco's escrow system being integrated into payment e-commerce platforms and B2B platforms like that. This will solve a big problem, and this will actually encourage businesses and SMEs to actually trade better and get their services across better, not just in Africa, but across the globe. So thank you, Mr. Precious, once again. We hope to have you again here, maybe in our next edition to shed more light on your solution. So we'll be moving to the next. Okay. Unfortunately, you are not the final speaker, even though you spoke like the final speaker. You gave us more or less a take-home message. But we have other speaker here in the house. I think this will be the final speaker. The person of Mr. Arif Jumra. Arif Jumra is a digital founder and the MD and founder of digital team MENA. He'll be, I don't know if he's in the house, Mr. Arif. Mr. Arif Jumra, you can take the floor. The founder of digital team MENA. Okay, I think Mr. Arif is not yet ready. I don't think he's available. So we'll move on to the vote of thanks. I'll be introducing our partner. It's actually a partner to the African Trade Exhibition, Dr. Abdul Bade Dada, to give us the vote of thanks for this very insightful and thought-provoking session that we've had today. Mr. Abdul Dada, it's always a pleasure having you with us. Please take the floor, sir, for the vote of thanks. Abdul, are you with us?
Hello?
Abdul, are you with us? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
How are you?
Okay. I'm fine, Mr. I'm fine, doctor.
Thank you very much for the invitations again, and I think I'm lucky to be on board with you. I'm lucky also to be on board with this initiative that has been now for almost 1 year plus, and I guess today it was very really fruitful and very insightful topics, because this is what we aim when we reach out, when we develop this project, when we develop the African Trade Exhibition. And I don't want to take too much time, but based on what all the distinguished and the guests has been discussed and has been raised during their presentations and during their topics, which has been aligned with what we are looking to have, I guess we are reaching our target to match make those people. Unfortunately, yeah, we have some people from outside, but technical problem with them, they are not able to be on board with us. Especially when the colleagues, when the guests has been raised, how we can put on board the relevant stakeholders from other, let's say, continent and from other area to bring and to tap in Africa in their experience, in their knowledge. Here, what we are looking also forward to put it into action and bring people together in a very bilateral meetings and bilateral discussion, because as it has been raised, there is some specific regulations for each country based on which level of developments in providing the infrastructures and providing the legislations in their countries. I guess we are in the position now to transfer this into more practical objectives. We need to put it, and we need to work together, and we need to highlight it, because even global wide, the technology, the fintech technology is moving quickly now, and there is a lot of experience has been accumulated along the since this industry has been jumped into the business and the trading. And nowadays it helps and facilitate a lot by even connecting the traders themselves global wise and in their system, and create this chain of relations among the traders, the logistic, the government, the need of the market itself. I am very happy about what we hear today, and I think what has been raised from some of the colleagues and the discussion about how we can move forward. There is a lot of things what we are looking to move forward, and that's why at the beginning we say that There is a technology conference dedicated for this is going to take place by next week, and the main topics during the next year, will be more dedicated into actions in terms of really unlocking the trade and bring the practical people, the investors, to be on board with us and in that regard, and to align with what's going on in the ground, in the physical, to be able to have a joint event together and to be able to respond for the needs of the not only the areas or the countries, but even the regions, because as it has been mentioned also, there is some differentiations between the needs and between the current situation of the people or the situations of the technology and the businesses in these sectors in different area among Africa. Again, thank you very much. For us as African Trade Exhibitions, we are at disposables for anyone to reach for anyone. Our networks global-wise, we are able to bring the relevant stakeholders. We are happy to facilitate any bilateral meetings among the governments, among the private sector itself, and to be able to develop and support in developing the partnerships, the distinguished areas, and to support in developing the facilitations of the trading of Africa, which will reflect our economy and our economic growth among the continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Abdul. It's always a pleasure having you. It's always a pleasure, always insightful listening to you too. Dr. Abdul is the International Relations and Strategic Development Director at the Africa Trade Exhibition. Okay, so it's been a very, very, very thought-provoking session today. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has made it here today, to our speakers and our very important guests who shared a lot of insights on what they are doing in terms of their companies, organizations, government agencies that they represent. The African Trade Exhibition, once again, it's a 3-day conference and tech expo slated for next year, and this webinar is more or less a build-up to the conference, and because we'd like to get feedback before we commence operations on the conference. So this feedback we've got here today has been nothing short but encouraging, and we've seen now that tech has definitely plays a very vital role in the facilitation of efficient and effective trade in Africa. And we will be sending out messages to all our speakers, special guests on this program after this. So you can always indicate your interest to partner for the conference and see how we can collaborate to make this program a success. Let's take Africa solutions to the world. Okay, so once again, we would like to say a big thank you to all the speakers today. You guys have been amazing. We have learned so much. We have shared a lot of knowledge. It's been thought-provoking. It's been stimulating. It's been insightful. I mean, I can go on and on. And for the participants who joined us on the call, your messages have been receiving messages since. And please, we appreciate you. We thank you for joining us, and we hope that the next series will also be available. Please, if you have missed any information, if you have missed any presentation from any of the speakers, please visit our website at www.africantradeexhibition.com and go to our blog page for all the information. We'll also be sharing the information of the speakers there. So if there's any interested, as we said, it's all about collaboration. We are open to collaboration. So if you want to do business in Liberia, please go to our blog and you get information of the Liberian representative for the Commerce, Liberia Chamber of Commerce representative. Information will be there. If it's Botswana you want to do business with, please go there. If you want to also, take the services or collaborate with the fintechs that presented here today, SIDA, please feel free to get the information from our blog, and also Precious Storm for Pandas Grow, and of course our very, very well-spoken Mr. Adewolu for Triumph Limited. Of course, if you are looking for solutions, fintech solutions, always feel free to collaborate with them on every level. We want to say thank you once again to everybody. For those who I did not mention, please pardon me because of time. We cannot address everyone. But thank you so much. It has been really insightful, and we hope to have sessions again in the nearest future. So have a lovely day, everybody. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.